Oi, gente, olá! Então, hoje vamos falar um pouco sobre os pronomes de sujeito e os verbos a, er. So, we're going to take a look today at the subject pronouns and AR verbs in Portuguese. Ok, continuando. So, the subject pronouns in Portuguese, and just to remind us what subject pronouns are in English in the first place, our subject pronouns are those little words, the I, you, he, she, we, etc. So in Portuguese, when I want to say I say eu, eu. It's almost like you, but eu, eu, eu. In some parts of Brazil and in Portugal and the Portuguese-speaking countries in Africa, the word for you is going to sound like the word in Spanish. It's going to be tu, tu, tu. So that's going to be you in some Portuguese-speaking places. For most of Brazil, though, you're going to see or hear the word that is used for you is going to be você, você. Você fala português. Você, you. Now, in a very formal context, if you want to say you, sir, you're going to say o senhor. O senhor fala português. If you want to be formal and you're speaking to a woman and you want to say you, ma'am, you will say a senhora. A senhora fala português. If I want to say he speaks Portuguese, ele fala português. If I want to say he, again, he, ele. If I want to say she speaks Portuguese, ela fala português. Ela, she. Now we're going to see this little expression in Portuguese, which you'll hear all the time, which is a gente. A gente means we, and it's common in Brazil, it's common in Portugal, everywhere people will use this expression, a gente. And the funny thing is, the conjugation, even though it means we, is going to be a singular conjugation. We'll also talk a little bit more about that in a minute. For the plural pronouns, if I want to say we, generally, I'm going to use nós. For all of you, or you guys, or y'all, it's going to be vocês. And if I want to say they, I'm going to say eles. Now, if they're a group of men and women, eles. If it's just a group of guys, eles. If it's a group of all women or all girls, then we're going to use elas. So just really quickly, as I mentioned before, tu is used in Portugal, in the Portuguese-speaking areas of Africa, and in some parts of Brazil, like some parts of the Northeast or the extreme South. And that means you, and it's your familiar you. Now, in most of Brazil, that familiar you that you're going to use with friends and family is going to be você, no? Você. In more formal context, you're going to have o senhor and a senhora, which is going to be like you, sir, or you, ma'am. And those are sort of the most formal. So in some countries, like Portugal and the Portuguese-speaking countries of Africa, tu will be the least formal, você would be more formal, and o senhor or a senhora, that would be really formal, okay? But in most of Brazil, você e o senhor, a senhora, so it's the informal and then the formal. But like I mentioned before, there are some parts of Brazil that use tu. Okay, last thing is sometimes we don't even use the subject pronoun, especially for the eu form, because you're going to see that when I conjugate the verb, that is already going to tell me who is doing the action. So I can say falo português, né? And you can tell from that o, falo, that already means I, because that corresponds to I. Sometimes, though, you'll hear people use it for emphasis. Eu falo português. Você fala inglês, mas eu falo português. So you also see that as well. Okay, hope this helps.